Greetings. Being and doing. Doing is activity, action. Being is non activity. But this non activity may many times seem like or be misinterpreted like laziness. There is a wide difference between being oneself in the state of non doing and the state of non doing due to lethargy or tamas, that is called tamas. So, when there is too much of tamas, there is inactivity. Tamas can come due to too much of overloaded thoughts, too much of unhealed, unresolved issues, that life seems like a burden. So, that burden is so heavy. You know what happens when we are heavy? We become tired, we become slow, we cannot move with too much of baggages. You just collapse, you just have to sit in one place. So that is what tamas can do when there is too much of load. Now, beingness is not that. It can be misunderstood. That's the whole thing about these higher teachings. One has to be very, very careful when you pick up very high scriptures. It needs a very, very deep level of understanding. Otherwise, it can be simply misinterpreted. Like I say, mauna, going silent. Ramana's teachings, be silent. So people come and tell me, I am silent now, so much of trouble in life. I don't want to talk to anybody. I like to be in silence. I'm in mauna. I have taken mauna vrata. So I don't talk because there is nothing to talk, or I'm getting offended, or people are not good, or something. Life is disturbing me, so I prefer to stay silent. Now that preferring to stay silent is coming out of a desperation. It is coming from a lot of clogging, from heaviness. It is not a natural course of action. It has been induced because the environment, circumstances are not favoring. So I go into the mode of silence, but that silence is not silence because the mind is continuously talking. This I might zip, I might pretend to be not talking to anybody, not attending phone calls, or moving out or meeting my friends or anything like that, and I'm sitting in one place. That is due to dejection, due to disappointment. So usually when it is out of dejection or disappointment, out of frustration, there will be lot of thoughts. So a person might be so-called silent, but the mind is not silent. That is trauma. That can cause more of issues in life, more health issues, mental issues, physical issues, because what is boiling inside like a volcano, can, because you have now sealed it. It is, I would recommend, it is better to talk, because at least that thing will release. You do anything, it can release it out. But if you bottle up in the name of spirituality, all the spiritual jargons, and then you keep on boiling from inside, then because it does not have an outlet, it will manifest into some other ways, outbursts as a physical illness and things like that. So this is the problem with high teachings. We should not go and attempt to just pick up quotes or pick up these books and just read because it's some higher text. Higher text is only after you dump yourself, after you have healed, after you have resolved issues. From that emptiness, when you resolve things, there is a certain emptiness that comes. From there, that emptiness, it does not generate thoughts. It does not generate movement because there is nothing to move. There is nothing to think about much because everything has become blank. That state, one naturally gets into the state of silence, into stillness, in what you call as non-doing, into the state of being. That is what I am talking about. I'm not preaching all these high texts like Avadut Gita, Ashtavakra Gita, and Chidakasha Gita, and just trying to teach and tell you must follow teaching. You cannot follow teaching by reading. So many good texts are there, so many high texts are there, but you just cannot learn that way. So just by reading Ramana scriptures or reading Nisargadatta Maharaj and these high teachings and quotes, you cannot. You have to understand the fundamentals. If it was so easy just to preach and then just I just pick up something and I say, okay, stillness. Okay, let me do some meditation and become still. How to become still? See, they teach meditations. I'm so surprised. They teach meditation on becoming still. In meditation, anybody will become still. It is like while sleeping, you don't move. Your thoughts don't move. So it's very easy. In sleeping, what? It's like you are still. In meditation, also, anybody can be still. Even a drunkard is still after over drinking when he skunks off. He's unconscious, he is also still. What is the big deal? What happens after the intoxication comes down? Intoxication of the alcohol and intoxication of your meditation, of your techniques, of your sadhanas. What happens? After that, immediately you'll start moving. Chanchalatha. So, these have to be deeply uprooted. There is a lot of release and healing work to be done. If it was so easy, I would have just preached this and I would have told, start becoming silent, start becoming still, just don't do anything, be. I'm very careful when I say don't do. If you tell it to lazy people, they will say, oh, I love this Guru Ramana because he, or Nisardat Maharaj, because they say there's nothing to do, stop doing. So lazy people will like Ramana. And then they'll say that, we are following Ramana. Why do you follow? Because you find that's a shortcut. It is so easy to be, okay, yes, to be, so I'll not do any work. I'll just sit at home. Why? What are you doing? I'm not doing anything. Why? Because I'm following the spirituality. I am silent because I'm following the spirituality. No, silence is when the emptiness comes, there is nothing to speak because there are no thoughts. When there is no thoughts, there can be no speech. When there is no thoughts, there can be no movement, body movement. Simple as that. Mind moves, body moves, tongue moves. Simple as that. Stillness must come from emptiness. And I am reiterating very, very crystal clear. This emptiness can come only after you delete and erase all the concepts, all the karmakanda, all the rituals, all this practice, yantra, tantra, mantra, and your affinities to gods and deities, and this meditation and that meditation, and chakra meditations, and holy days, and this yatra, pilgrimages, temples, your festivals. सोच के इतना ये लगता है बोझ. So भला हुआ मेरी घघरी फूटी means everything has to just dissolve. So to become still, to become silent, to be in the being, one has to clean all these things from inside. So it's very funny when systems don't talk anything about cleansing. They say, okay, we'll add on one more technique into you. So we'll teach you stillness. We'll teach you about Arunachala Tattva competitively because everybody is doing it. So let's also do it. That doer has to die, my dear. That ego, that doer, that I am there, we also can do it. It's like not anybody can do it. Even we also can do it. Not just one particular people of only Ramana's people can do it. We also will do it. We are yogis. We have not got the whole thing. Anyways, eventually we will understand that. People will understand who are doing. You cannot still and all that. I've spent 4 years into this, into deep understanding of Ramana Tattva. Ramana Tattva is not so easy. It looks very simple, but it's not easy. So from there only I have devised these things because I met many Westerners who come for my retreats. We have separate private and they are confidential kind of retreats. Because they don't like to be known and things like that. So we keep it very confidential. There are 10, 12 people who are, and all these people are people who sat with even great saints before. They're all elderly people. They are from the 70s and 80s who came to India, settled down here. Some of them have sat with Nisardat Maharaj, Punjaji. They have been there with them. They only share their experiences. They come and sit and they told me this gap. They told me what you're teaching here, the shifting into awareness platform, is the bridge to understand Ramana better. Because once you get this grip, then it's easy to understand this who am I, because they only said, we have found everybody sitting and just meditating, who am I, who am I, who am I, who am I, and just asking this question and getting more confused. They are doing good efforts, but one of them said, it's been 3 decades, 30 plus years been doing, but not got the point. They said now they get the point. What is it about? Because what we have added here is the foundation of how can you become so empty that you can imbibe into that, abide in the self and all that. What you have to get rid of many things. How to get rid of it is what we are doing actually. Who am I is not difficult. Self-inquiry is not difficult. Once this kachada goes, you simply sit, who am I will start happening. Grace, that's grace. So by grace only, you remove all these obstacles. So this is what I mean by freedom. Freedom means freedom from the mind and its content. Get this very clear. Spirituality means mind and its contents have to be cleaned, whichever practice you do. Other practices are there, but they don't cleanse completely. They cleanse some other concepts and all that, but the main concept, the I is not cleansed, and this affinity with the path and tradition and this god and that god, and the so much of weightage with the colors, so much of weightage is on this chakra meditation and this and that. So you can see Shiva, Lord Shiva is telling Parvati, give up all your chakra meditations in Devi Kalotra. Until that you cannot get me. Give up all your meditations, including the chakra meditation, including the deities sitting in each chakra and on every petal in the chakras. You have to quit all those deities, including Vinayaka or Ganesh sitting in the Muladhara. This Shiva says in Devi Kalotra. Everything has to be given up. Because all those fancies, those are fancies, and they're all based on a mind concepts. Who's the one who's meditating on that? Mind is conceptualizing thing and getting attached with that, and mind is active, mind is chanchala. That sadhana itself is chanchala. Are you getting it? It is not that sadhana is wrong or the practices are wrong. They are all good for chitta shuddhi only. All these cleanses, your kundalini and the other shakti practice and all that, or other rituals or the mantra japa, tantra, yantra, all these are good. But they eventually clean the mind. Finally, you have to become so mature to the point that that cleansed mind can now understand what I am talking. It will be able to clearly understand. Though all these people who are reached to that kind of a purified state of mind, chitta shuddhi, they will be able to grasp what I am telling very easily, and they can very easily let go of the concepts also. If the ego is strong, the I is very strong, it cannot give up the concept because the I is struggling to exist. I is struggling to hold on to something or the other. It is scared, insecure. That means I is strong. Still work is there. So continue doing sadhana. Continue doing whichever path, whichever practice you are doing. Eventually, that will clean up. As it cleans up, you'll understand what you're telling. So Devi Kalotra is for people who are on that stage. As I told you, my work is for transition of people who are transitioning from doing to being. So Devi Kalotra is my Bible, is my Bhagavad Gita, is my Quran for the people who are transitioning. If you don't like listening to me, you go and read Devi Kalotra. Or if you like to go in depth, then I have courses on shiftingintoawareness.com/courses. Devi Kalotra in Hindi and English also. 15 days we have done. Go and do it. In depth, you'll understand everything that Lord Shiva is telling to the ripe seekers. Because he says in that, this is not for everybody. This is for ripe seekers. And because that is why Shiva says, all those things like Ardhanareshwara and Shiva and Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and all that, Shiva says, I am not that. You let go of that, he says. So that is why Shiva says to let go of all the concepts. He says, I am not Ardhanareshwara, I am not the Pranam Mantra, I am not Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, I am none of those. And Parvati asks, then why did you give it? You only gave it to me. I have read your Tantras only, your Shastras only. He says that is for Manda Buddhi. It is for dull intellect, not for you, because you have ripe enough now. Understand me that you don't have to hold on to those things. Give up all your meditation, give up all your Pitru Paksha, all this ascension of ancestors. He has told this very, very clearly. Give up all these ideologies, all these concepts. They are all simply concepts. If you want to understand the Brahma Gyan, Brahma Vidya, then sit here silently with an empty mind, with no fear, no doubt, and I'll give you further. That is precisely what I'm talking, and that is precisely what we are teaching here. So our work is to eradicate all the concepts. Don't sit with any concept. The retreat that is coming in December, intensive, which is there, the basic requirement, of course, it's not open to the public. It's for the members only. You have to first become a member, then only you can attend retreats. But even for that, it's tightened up now. If concepts are there, you cannot attend that. That we will check out. We have protocols. We will check out that you are completely concept free. It is only for concept people. So if you are doing some yantra, if you are doing some mantra, if you are doing some meditation, if you are having different affinities, or if you have many other philosophies, teachers and things like that which you are following, then it will not be possible. Just for the very few who have understood what I am trying to tell, because then only we can do some intense work. Otherwise, in the intensive, I'll sit on talking the same thing only which I've been talking for 3 years and still palle nahi padta. People don't understand. So if people are not understanding, that means they don't want to evolve or their stage has not come. So there is no point banging head on that. So I would prefer who are naturally growing, who are simply understanding this with deep understanding, with experience, realization. They are doing that. They, for them it will be easy. For me also it will be easy. Then that being thing is there. So tomorrow's webinar which I am doing is like a basic movement towards that. The people who are coming for December will have to participate in these events, because if they are not present, you cannot come now directly to retreats. No, I'll come once in a year. No way. Because many things are happening here and you have to be updated for that. Okay, so these things are there. A lot of work is going on here. Purification, not about webinars I'm telling. I'm even talking about our free sessions. You have to be a part of it. Okay, so see you tomorrow. Those who are signing up today, we have a preparatory coming at 9, and tomorrow at 12 to 5 we are doing Indian standard times. Those who are not able to attend tomorrow will be given the recordings, and we are doing of course the 11 days also post that, the follow up. Stay blessed, much divine love and light.